Hello, I am your new favorite, JJ Caballero, and this is Mono Stereo Video, a podcast about movie music. I'm a songwriter, producer, DJ, and I love movies, and this is the perfect excuse to talk about music and movies, especially with my co-host, the lovely Goins, Casey Goins. How's it going, my love?
Good, it's good. I'm watching you right now doing your little
I know.
cheek thing that you do when you say.
What do I do? What do you mean?
It's like a thing where you're like, you go like that. When you say certain words or when certain letters are combined, you do like a...
Oh.
I know, people are like, do what? It's all silent. You need to do a little insert of a video of your cheek.
I know. I don't want to do that. I don't want to videotape anymore. We're not videotaping this.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I know. There's no video anymore. Imagine videotape. Imagine I was videotaping. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We're back, baby. We're back from. Well, actually, we're done with Twilight Land. We finished the Twilight Saga.
Mm-hmm.
You would have just heard I believe the Breaking Dawn Part 2 episode last week, and very grateful for you, those of you who stuck with us through that. Last soundtrack was better than the soundtrack before it. The whole saga was cool. We got a cool response. Like, people just been sending us a bunch of memes.
Yes.
Yeah, we've just been getting.
It's been hilarious.
Yeah, and I've been getting all the Twilight memes, like, just like on my feed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just just on my feed. It's all Twilight all the time now.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's pretty fun. It's Twilight and Trent Reznor. Like, it's a bunch of them. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're on to anyway. Thank you very much for listening. At the top, I just want to remind you, if you're in the El Paso area, next week, a week from when you're gonna hear this, March 21st at Mona, we're having our Tip Ring Sleeve, our Cyberpunk anniversary party, the 1 year anniversary of Mono Stereo Video. We're gonna play a bunch of your favorite soundtrack hits. And I'm gonna do a set of mainly kind of 90s, 2000s-ish techno and house stuff. And we got Mr. Woozy on, and he always plays some real cool industrial gothy, cool. You know what I mean? So that'll be cool. I know, yeah. Cyberpunk. So come dressed as Cyberpunk. Come dressed up.
It's like Halloween in the middle,
yeah.
Do Halloween again.
Do Halloween again.
Just to get dressed up,
and then I don't know. I want to do a raffle of something. I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of something to do a little extra, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I was debating a few things.
We'll think on that.
Yeah, we'll think on that. But if you follow us on all the social medias, help us spread the word. We'll be there from I believe 9 p.m. on till question mark, right? Till question mark. And we're pretty excited about this. We're pretty excited. So, getting that out of the way, you could find us on the social medias. Casey's at Casey is Harry. I'm at _JJCaballero. But Mono Stereo Video is probably the place where you'll get the most up to date. Well, mine probably, but then Mono Stereo Video will keep you up to date on the stuff. Mono Stereo Video on the social medias, mainly Instagram. All right. We are in Cyberpunk land. Jack me up. Jack me up.
Oh my gosh.
And I want to get into the mainframe. I want to hack in, reboot. I need the internet. There's some lines on this movie too.
No, there was so many.
We're talking today about the 1995 Cyberpunk epic. I mean, it's not that long. It was longer than I thought it was gonna be. But Johnny Mnemonic, directed by Robert Longo, based on a story by William Gibson. Also written, I believe William Gibson wrote the screenplay and such. And he was a big hand in it. And Robert Longo and him and Keanu Reeves, in an interview that I read, that they're still cool with each other. That's cool. Still have a cool thing going on. William Gibson, the father of like cyberpunk. Like he's like Neuromancer. This story came out before Neuromancer, I think, but Neuromancer is kind of like one of like the defining pieces of like sci-fi literature. That's like it invented the term. I think it invented the term like I don't know if cyberspace. It invented he invented the term cyberspace in that, and the internet was like, like hackers, and it's that one tells the story of some hacker that has a he's like an anti-hero and such, and it's got to do it with a bunch of stuff like that. Johnny Mnemonic is like an extension of that universe, and it's very much like, I don't know, I think it's kind of prescient right now too.
I felt it. I was like, wow, this is very, I mean, just especially because it's supposed to take place in 2021.
Right.
And just the little things, it felt more believable than some of the other movies of what they described as happening even like further in the future.
That's true. Yeah.
Like this one was very like, yeah, people are going to start having chips in their bodies, and like when we go to Whole Foods and it's like scan your hand to pay, and it's like, what
that is crazy.
That for me is kind of
that's too much
alarming.
For me.
Like I don't like, that's a little bit too much to buy groceries. Like I don't know.
I'm not gonna buy groceries.
And I get it. They're having places like that too, where it's like a whole ass little convenience store, and that's how you pay. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like you can walk in there. They know how much stuff you grabbed because it's all like weighted or something. I don't know.
It's also like I mean, just having your biometrics, like just that's a whole invasion of privacy that I'm not really on board of.
But I could totally see that happening, having like a little chip installed, and like that's all you need, and it's your bus pass, it's your ID, it's your passport, you know what I mean? Like all the stuff.
I mean, it's something that people want. That there's like an Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Quote this, that fucking idiot is trying to do something like that.
I'm sure.
There's like already they're trying. I'm sure there's already, he has that Neuralink thing where they want to implant a chip in your brain, and you can actually see like you're in fucking alternate reality, and
like how
reality is augmented.
The stuff, and he's like,
yes, that shit, I mean, like the Johnny Mnemonic headset, like that's very much a thing now. Like virtual reality is very much, that Meta thing, or no, what is it? The Apple thing?
I forget.
Yeah, eyes, whatever the eyes are. I don't know what it was once the Oculus, and I don't know what the fuck it's called, but that Apple thing that people are wearing now, like that's a thing. It's engaged in the internet, and it doesn't need wires to hook up to it. And in this, like, it did need wires, and that's why I like the look of Cyberpunk, because it is very like it's hardwired still.
Yeah, it's a lot of cables and a lot of like everything's grimy, and dirty, and oily.
And that too, it's very dystopian, like very. You can't trust one another. No,
every man for himself.
It's survival mode. It's like, but I believe like. That's the idea of like capitalism on hyperdrive, right? Like it's
like the Wild West in the future.
Yeah. And it very much, I mean, times now very much are starting to feel a little bit like, and you see this fictional world that you're in, and you see like, you could see that on Skid Row. You could see that on fucking, like other like big cities that have
where
dirtier.
There's like certain streets where it's just like it's full of tents, and like that's just like that's what starts to happen.
But then down the street, there's the fucking Bezos Tower, the Bezos balls, and shit like that in Seattle. Stuff like that. Yeah. So it's very much a prescient moment. This 1995 film. Let's get to the cast first. Let's get to the cast before I start talking about. More about what it's about, but yeah, it was Robert Longo is an artist. He's a visual artist. He's also like I think he was like in a band. Not a famous band or anything, but he's like he's
the
like
stuff you were showing me was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of black and white. Like that's part of like aesthetic, like. You know what I mean? Like it looked really pretty.
Men in the Cities. That's what it's called. Those series of drawings. It's called Men in the Cities. It's a series of like people contorting their bodies and such. And he drew it. And I believe his medium is like charcoal pencil and stuff like that. And charcoal, like he's very distinct, very deep blacks, very dark black.
Real saturated.
Yes, and everything's very black and gray drawings. He's hyper realism, so everything looks like a photo. Like I thought he was a photographer at first, but no, it's like, and I mean he might be taking photos and having them as a reference, But he's it says here he was educated at the University of North Texas, but he dropped out. And he went to Buffalo State College. He was born in Brooklyn. He's a contemporary of like Julian Schnabel. Julian Schnabel. I'm trying to think of what Julian Schnabel directed the Basquiat biopic with Jeffrey Wright. Julian Schnabel also did the album art for the Chili Peppers, By the Way, like that painted girl and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, his paintings are like a very famous painter. He's kind of like the bad boy of art and shit like that. Yeah. He was a contemporary of Basquiat and stuff. So that's why he wanted to do that movie. So, very much like old school New Yorker dude. He also directed music videos. He directed New Order's Bizarre Love Triangle. He directed Megadeth's Peace Cells. He directed The One I Love by REM. We should check these out, I think. And I want to do like a video series where we check out fucking music videos from things like this. You know what I mean? I think that'd be cool somehow to do it. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, he directed a episode of Tales from the Crypt called This'll Kill Ya. Fuck yeah.
Let's watch that.
I want to watch that. Hell yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this one, he did a pretty good interview with, let's see, the Screen Slate, with screenslate.com, and the interview was at the 25th anniversary of Johnny Mnemonic. They re-released it on like a Blu-ray DVD, black and white. Robert Longo originally wanted it to be more low budget. He didn't want he didn't want it to be a big thing, and he wanted to shoot it in black and white. He kind of wanted it to be more of an art film. And this, he had to kind of he got a bigger budget from the studio, and the studio just had a big hand in it. And it was like, there was a lot of stuff that he wanted to do that they didn't let him do on the story, a lot of visuals that he wanted to play with. It was like a kind of happy medium, because I still like the movie, but he wasn't really happy with it. He was actually pretty pissed off about like his experience with the studio system and everything. But what had happened was that he got like some sort of like DVD rip or Blu-ray rip, and he himself he went in and color graded it to like the black and white that he would want. And then somebody like showed Sony, who had the rights to this, and they're like, no, well, let's just give you like so they gave him the film, and then he recolored it, and like it's like a black and white version. And people say like it's actually like very, it's different. It's got like a different
more
feel
pleasing,
to it.
Yeah.
And I could see how. Yeah, I could see how, because like it was real colorful and shit, and real, but at the same time, like it's real dark and everything. Yeah. So Robert Longo is pretty cool. I'll probably quote him. I'll probably bring up some stuff on this interview as we go through it. But Johnny Mnemonic, of course, is played by Keanu Reeves. He's just credited as Johnny here. His last name's not Mnemonic. His last name...
He's just a mnemonic courier.
He's a mnemonic courier. He's a mnemonic courier. I think his last name... What is his last name? Did it actually say?
They even make a joke about it during the movie where it's like, Johnny, just Johnny. Like,
yeah, that's right, just Johnny.
He's like... And then he acts all confused, like, that's it, man. What else would it be? Like,
yeah. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is the jam. One of our favorites. If you don't know who Keanu Reeves is, I don't know, like... He's been around
I mean, if
forever.
You don't know who Keanu Reeves is, you're just like not, you know what I mean? You're under 20 years old. Probably.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That's just the reality of it.
But he was also Duke Kaboom in Toy Story. In Toy Story 4, he was like the...
Oh, but like not a lot of people know.
Well, there's actually like videos of like kids like, and he's like, that's like his favorite, like one of his favorite characters. Like he's like, he'll see kids at like fucking conventions, and he's like down to just do the voice for them and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cute.
That's cute.
It is pretty cute. He seems like a very nice guy.
He is a very nice guy.
Seems like a very nice guy. John Wick. He's in like so many like John Wick, fucking the Matrix franchise. We're gonna also talk about the Matrix.
That's awesome that he could do like franchise, like, and
he's a franchise guy.
Like,
yes,
he crossed over like in that way. But
I mean, he started off as like kind of like more of like an indie kid too. My Own Private Idaho. What was that one? River's Edge. It's those movies are like on our list of things that we need to watch. What else? I mean, Bill and Ted. Yeah. He got this. This was after the success that he had with Speed, and like Speed kind of like pushed him over and stuff.
And then he did one. Didn't he do that Little Buddha? I don't think I ever really saw that, but
Little Buddha.
I remember seeing that cover a lot in the furs, like walking around furs, like renting
he was
videos.
Constantine. Let's see. He was the Devil's Advocate.
Oh, so good.
Before this movie was Bill and Ted. Oh, and then he Point Break and Speed were the ones that
Point Break. That's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah. Point Break. Oh man, we need to watch that.
Swayze.
Yeah,
let's watch it.
Let's fucking watch that.
That would be so 90s.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm super down for that. Awesome. I'm super down for Point Break. Anyway.
I'm writing this down.
Write it down. He also plays in the band Dogstar, which is like on tour right now. They like reunited. But he's an amazing. He was actually born in Beirut. Oh, he was born in Beirut in 1964. Let's see. His mother was English. His father was Hawaiian. He is native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, Irish, and Portuguese descent. All right, cool. Wow. They moved. Let's see. His mother remarried a Hollywood director. So he just kind of he kind of grew up around. Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Like Keanu Reeves, awesome. I can't, we're going to talk about him again in The Matrix. And I think we'll probably talk more about him in The Matrix. I think he's the presence here. I was reading an article that this movie almost, it kind of delayed the production of The Matrix because the Wachowskis used this as like this is kind of what we want to do. They built upon this movie. And that's why we're talking about this when we're talking about these Cyberpunk soundtracks to start with, is because this was kind of like a foundational thing. Like we'll talk about it in the soundtrack too, because it's like soundtracks after this were like, that's what they all had, like this kind of like heavy. Yeah. So we'll talk about it. So that's Johnny Mnemonic played by Keanu Reeves. Next is Dolph Lundgren plays Carl Honig, aka the Street Preacher, who's like a homeless assassin, somewhat, who's also trying to get information. He's
also playing I'm the new Messiah.
Like I'm the new Messiah. Yeah. That's the preacher, and he's wild and dangerous and a very comic book character. He's very comic book. This movie's very comic booky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Dolph Lundgren from Sweden. He is he's a fucking action star in his own right. Masters of the Universe. Fucking, he was He-Man. He was the fucking, he was a Punisher on the 1989 movie.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, of course, he was, what's that movie? Rocky.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Drago and Rocky. He was in Universal Soldier, too. He was one of the lead villains in Universal Soldier. And he's kind of he's an interesting guy. I think he's like a fucking scientist. He's actually he has a doctor. He was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to MIT in 1983. Yeah. He had a Fulbright, so he's just a fucking super smart guy.
That's cool.
And then he pursued acting, and then he just, you know what I mean? So.
I fucking hear that ice cream.
I hear that fucking ice cream truck. I know that bitch. I don't know how it is.
And I also kind of want ice cream.
No. We are back from a little bit of pee and wait for the ice cream truck to podcast break to give you a little bit of insight into what we do here. And Casey was holding back so hard to try to not to get ice cream right now.
Well, I was just I might not have ice cream right now, but I will have ice cream today.
Yeah, we should probably do a Sonic or something. I'm super down for that after this.
I'll be having some ice cream today.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
You've been behaving good.
Get out of here.
All right. Dolph Lundgren. Dina Meyer as Jane. Dina Meyer is recognizable because she was also she was in a recurring role on Beverly Hills 90210. Do you remember her from that?
I do.
Well, who was she in that?
I think she played one of Brandon's girlfriends, or maybe one of Steve's.
Okay.
She was there for a bit. She wasn't like the main cast, but she was there reoccurring for a bit. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. And then she was also in Dragonheart. I know her. I recognize her from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
She has a pretty hardcore death in that movie. That movie's pretty hardcore. Hardcore movie.
I haven't seen that one that much, so I can't remember.
I've seen that one quite a bit. It's pretty crazy. It's a pretty insane movie. We should talk about that one time on something, maybe. I don't know if it has a good soundtrack, but we should talk about it on something somewhere. Anyway, Dina Meyer, she did pretty good in this. She was cool in this. I mean, I guess she's like a not like a character actor, but she's in like different types of movies, like Dragonheart, and you know what I mean, and the 90210. You know, yeah, she's cool. She's from New York City. She's still working. She's still doing stuff. She was in Birds of Prey. Oh, okay. I don't remember her in that. She had some TV stuff. She was in Ally McBeal, 6 Feet Under Nip Tuck, The Mentalist, Castle, NCIS. She was in CIS, American Horror Story. I don't remember which American Horror Story. I don't remember her from. Oh yeah, she was also in a bunch of the Saws. That's what I saw too.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in the Saw movies. She was a detective in them. Alrighty, yeah. Moving on. Ice-T as J-Bone.
My goodness.
Ice-T, a rapper, one of the founding people, like a founding father of hip hop. He's been around for a long time, and I think he's from the Bay Area. I want to say, because he's not. Let me see. He's more notable because of his like. What was the name of that band? Body Count, because of his heavy metal, like that. His metal band was like at the forefront of like rap rock, and Body Count was like a thing. And they had a big song called Cop Killer. But he's a rapper. He's been doing it since the 80s. Yeah, what was there was this movie? Fuck, what was it? Yes, Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. You ever seen that one?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. And he was on that movie, like super young Ice-T. Yeah, super crazy.
My mom liked those movies.
Yeah. Your mom would. Like it was like
that's why I saw them.
Good wholesome fun. Good wholesome black fun for my little black girls. Yeah. You guys are cute. You're funny. That's funny. Tracy Lauren Morrow, that's his name. Tracy Lauren Morrow, he's a New Jersey dude. Okay, he was a New Jersey dude. But yeah, he's also an actor.
He turned into a character actor.
Yeah, he turned into a character actor, and he's most known for like CSI, that special SVU, right?
SVU.
It's a rape. Yeah, he always says that. It's a rape or some shit. Like he's always real, JJ from the future. I stole that joke from somewhere. I don't know from who. It was on somebody special. Wasn't really funny then. It's not really funny now. It's not really a funny joke. That wasn't a funny. That was a pained laugh by my partner. Thank you very much, Casey, for that pained laugh to guide me along. But yeah, sorry for that dumb joke. Bad joke. Let's get back to it. He's in one of my favorite movies, Tank Girl.
Tank Girl.
Yeah, he's a
kangaroo.
Kangaroo and Tank Girl. Yeah, J-Bone. J-Bone's a very 90s nickname. Like it's a very like if somebody called me J-Bone in the 90s, I would have been so fucking stoked.
You were telling me to call you J-Bone as soon as they introduced his character. Oh my gosh. I was like, I cannot. I am sorry. That will not be happening.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, you were like, call me J-Bone.
Takeshi Kitano as Takahashi. Takeshi Kitano. So he's a famous Japanese, like, he's a comedian, he's an actor, and he's a filmmaker. He's also a director. Oh, you haven't seen Battle Royale. He's got a prominent part in Battle Royale. That's where, like, the not the first, how can I say, I don't know, it's not the first time I'd seen him, but seeing him in this, I'm like, where do I know him from? And then reading Battle Royale, it's like, yeah, he was the fucking guy. He's the guy that tells them about what's going on. Battle Royale is like kind of like the original Hunger Games. Okay. And it was like a bit like a Lord of the Flies, and it's very gory. It's a book. It was a manga series, and then it was a film series. Very gory, and we should watch it.
When did this come out?
2000s, like the 2000s. It's fucking sick. We need to watch it.
Why haven't I watched it?
We put that down. We should probably watch that. Put that down. We should probably watch that right now. Yeah, let's watch. It's probably, I think.
So many things to watch right now, guys. How are we gonna watch all these things?
I think that's on Tubi. But Takeshi, so his show Takeshi's Castle, Takeshi's Castle is the basis for that
Eureka?
The most extreme.
I was like, Eureka's Castle.
The most extreme challenge. You know that one it's like the Japanese men who are making all the Japanese people like do crazy like it
where it had the two announcers and they were like dubbed over.
Yeah,
and
he's one of them. He's one of the announcers. It's his castle. Yeah, that was his original. Okay, the original show was his thing. Okay, yeah,
Pam loved watching.
Yeah,
Pam loved that shit.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I would watch it, because that's what she would put it on that. So I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it sucks you in. You can't help it.
It does suck you in. But yeah, he's got an awesome career.
Funny.
He's got a great career. He's got a wild career. He's done it all. He's done it all, and yeah, and he's still doing it. And he was just this and this. He was in fucking Johnny Mnemonic. So I want to keep up with who he is, and every time he pops up, I'm gonna take note of it. He was in the Ghost in a Shell. He was one of the in the yeah, that one, the remake one. He was in the remake Ghost in a Shell. Let's see, does Ghost in a Shell have a good soundtrack? I don't know. So
I know a lot of people hated on it, and like I wasn't like a super mega fan, or maybe I would have hated on it too, but I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it.
I thought it was cool. I liked it too. Dennis Akiyama as Shinji. Shinji is like a Yakuza assassin with a nail that's like a laser rope string.
That was like a pretty cool tool, but I'm like, dang, cool. You have to have so much practice with that to not slice your own damn self. Like,
and he did slice his own damn self. Spoiler alert.
Else did slice him, but like still, like they used it against him. But still, it's like,
yeah.
That's hardcore.
But he was cool. He's recognizable. Let's see. He's a Canadian actor providing the voice of Iceman in X-Men. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. And Malachite in the original English version of Sailor Moon. He was the voice of Malachite. Let's see. He was in Dead Ringers as the pharmacist, the Jeremy Irons one, remember?
I can't even think.
Yeah,
right
okay.
Now.
Space Truckers, The Pacifier, Repo Man, Resident Evil
Lots
Afterlife.
of sci-fi, I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Pixels, okay.
The Disney one?
The
Disney movie.
No, it's a Adam Sandler, right? I don't think that's a Disney one, but it's the one.
Or a kids, an animated one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, animated. Yeah. I think I've never seen it, but it's the one where it's Josh Gad's in it, and they insinuate that Josh Gad had sex with Qbert, essentially. And they have babies. Weird. We should probably watch that movie one day. But he's also so he's a voice actor a lot of voice actor. Oh, he was a lot of voice actor. X-Men, Sailor Moon, Monster Force, The Adventures of Tintin. Ooh, Tintin. Let's see. Yeah, he was in Degrassi, like an episode of Degrassi. Huh. Yeah. Good actor. I like what he does. He was great in this as a Yakuza assassin with a garrote laser fingernail thing. That was pretty crazy. Henry Rollins is Spider. Henry Rollins is awesome. Mm-hmm. I think I've talked about him already.
Henry Rollins is a character actor,
He's a character.
I think it's funny because they'll put him in these roles where he doesn't fit, but they're like, you're going to be a scientist. Yeah. Or you're going to be a surgeon. You know what I mean? He's so like...
Oh, man. What was the movie that...
Like, he's still got his combat boots on and he's like, yeah. I'm Henry Rollins. You know?
And then he was in Heat.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. That was the first... I didn't even know he was a musician before I saw him acting before I realized he was Henry Rollins. You know what I mean?
Airheads, like, right? As a cop in Airheads.
Yeah, that's what, see? You're going to be a cop.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Henry Rollins, a seminal figure of the hardcore punk movement, originally of Black Flag, then of Rollins Band. Still does speaking engagements and such. Rollins Band is on the soundtrack. We'll talk about Rollins Band in a bit too. Let's see. I mean, we've talked about him before. Mm-hmm. Rollins Band was on the Crow soundtrack, and no, it was on fucking Spawn. It was on fucking Spawn because I remember talking to Mikey about Rollins Band. So yeah, Rollins Band, Henry Rollins. We'll talk about him a little bit more, but yeah, he's always in those. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's gonna sound weird, but hang out with me. Like, he's like a muscly, like skinnier. He got thrown into like Chris Farley roles.
Yeah.
I could see Chris Farley doing those roles. I could see him competing with Chris Farley for like the backup cop on this, or you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
And it's just like the same character at opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, I'm not gonna be throwing myself around on the floor, like ripping my clothes, but it's still gonna be silly.
Yeah, mm-hmm. He's such a presence. What other movie? Oh, fucking Lost Highway. He's a guard in Lost Highway too. Yeah. That's why we talked about him. Also, we talked about him in Lost Highway. Okay, yeah. Barbara Sukawa as Anna Coleman. Anna Coleman ends up being Johnny's mom, you said?
She was the AI.
The AI, yeah. She's an AI. Barbara Sukawa, let's see. She's a German actress of screen and stage. Oh, and she's a singer as well. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let me see if there's her notable filmography. A 1981 German film called Lola. A lot of German films. Let's see. American films are like M. Butterfly was a Cronenberg Madame Butterfly adaptation. Let's see if Cradle Will Rock, The Third Miracle, Urbania, 13 Conversations About One Thing. Let's see. Yeah, not much that I recognize. Oh, she was a coroner in Atomic Blonde. Okay.
I love that movie.
I know it. Yeah, that was a cool movie. She played Gala Dolly recently in the Dollyland movie. Okay. Dollyland is the biographical film about Salvador Dali, and Dolly's played by Ben Kingsley. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was also recently in that White Noise adaptation, the Noah Baumbach movie of the Don DeLillo book. And that was a Netflix movie. Yeah. So she's working. She was in Air, the fucking where they talk about the Jordans.
Oh, okay.
Jordans. Yeah, she's working. Okay, cool. Yeah, she's still doing stuff, and she was great in this. It was it was hard to figure out where she landed and where like the AI, like what that all had to do here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of themes.
Yeah, because that didn't just like you find that out at the end, like in the very last like 5 minutes.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Barbara Sukawa. Udo Kier as Ralphie. Udo Kier is a creep. I mean, he's probably not a creep. He's probably a lovely man. But he's like he is like the creepy guy in the movies, mm-hmm. you know. And he was a vampire in Andy Warhol's Dracula. He was
a vampire in Blade.
He was a vampire in Blade. Yeah, he's like a vampire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like
I'd pick him. I'd be like, right? Yeah, total.
A German actor. He's a character actor, but he's been in films of Lars von Trier, Gus Van Sant, Werner Herzog, Rainer Werner Fassbinder, fucking Dario Argento movie, fucking Alexander Payne, Paul, like he's been in it all. He was in Warhol's Frankenstein, Dracula 3000. I mean, he was in shit. Which fucking Argento movie? Anyways, he was in like Antichrist, the Lars von Trier movies. The House That Jack Built, he was in that also. Yeah, he plays a creepy guy, and Ralphie is kind of like Johnny Mnemonic's handler of sorts and gives him the jobs, but he also double crosses him on this.
Yeah, he screwed him over.
So yeah, Udo Kier, I love seeing him and stuff. I love when he pops up. He's a lot of horror stuff. He's in a lot of horror stuff. Yeah. Tracy Tweed as Pretty. Falconer Abraham as Yo Mama, Don Franks as Hooky, Diego Chambers as Henson, Arthur Ng as Viet. That's what's listed here as the cast list. Everybody's in character actors and such in their own right. Bit parts here and there, like speaking parts, like like the henchwomen and things like that. Stuff that and a robotic puppet dolphin. Also,
yeah.
Puppet dolphin.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I mean, just to kind of give a breakdown and a synopsis of what this movie is about. Johnny Mnemonic he's a mnemonic courier, right? That's what he's called, right? Mnemonic courier, and he's charged with carrying data in his head and like delivering it to different people who have different reasons for wanting that information. He doesn't have a lot of space in his head, but he gets an upgrade. The what I like about these types of like science fiction movies and like the cyberpunk era is the wires, is the grittiness, is the I'm not gonna trust like what's everybody's out for themselves. Like I like that. I would have wanted to see this in black and white, in all honesty.
Yeah, for sure. That would have looked pretty cool.
Yeah. But I did love this movie. Like, I did love it.
It's very watchable.
Yeah, it's a very watchable thing. But, so he's doing that. It's like William Gibson, one of his things is, like, body augmentation. And installing, like, chips in your head and having ports on your body and doing alterations to where you look like a this and there's like a robotic this and you know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of that in this world. That's where we're at in the future. I think it starts off Beijing, right? Let's see. We start off in Beijing. Then he ends up going to like Newark, and it's like travels pretty fast now. Like everything's kind of like the way that colonies and cities are kind of broken down. It's kind of weird now too. There's a degenerative effect. It's a disease called nerve attenuation syndrome, NAS, right? And that's like it's caused by like Wi-Fi frequencies and radio frequencies, and people get the black shakes. Like that's a thing that's going on, right? The black shakes. There's also what's the pharmacy corporation? Pharmacom. There's a big corporation, Pharmacom. And in this world, these couriers they deliver information in their heads. Corporations hire yakuza to
steal the information.
To get like to protect them, to get their information back.
Because they can kill. They don't need the person to be alive or functioning. No. They just need the head.
Yeah,
like
corporations
their hard
everything.
Drive.
Yes, corporations rule everything in this land. Like, and it's just like hyper capitalism in this land, and that's indicative of like a lot of science fiction written around this time and made around the time that it was like 80s, 70s. Science fiction's very like doomy. They're very like the writers themselves are all very kind of like socialist and stuff. Very they have like a lot of libertarian dudes too. Like there's people that just have different ideals and their politics are different. But yeah, so that's the basis of all this stuff. And Johnny gets sucked up into transporting pharmacom information that he doesn't know is pharmacom information to begin with, because he's just given to it by some like scientists.
They're like some young kids,
some young
too, like where he could tell that was their first time and doing something like this. So.
And it's too much information for his brain because he got an upgrade to get, it was like 160 gigabytes or something like that, and like
there's like double that amount.
And there's double that amount of information, and because the system is in his brain, there is such a thing as seepage, which will cause like a distortion of your reality, and then like you could die from it, right? Yeah, it was like a deadly thing.
And then the reason he took this job was because he's trying to buy back memories that got erased from his childhood for getting this upgrade. Like they remove old memories so that you could fit new information in there, and he regrets having done it. So he's trying to make this money so that he could have the procedure reversed later or something.
It's a basic.
It's very believable. It's like like I could totally see that happening. Like
it's also like it's a Keanu type situation where it's like, oh, I just want out. I have one more job and I'm out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that. Yeah. So he's trying to get out, trying to get a few $1 million, and this just so happens to be like the right place at the right time. It doesn't go as planned. There's like a visual code that he needs like a copy of.
Yeah, it's like a pin. Like it's like a pin, but it's made out of visuals. So that way, like you can't decode it unless you know what the visuals are. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, but this is all interrupted by our man, the Yakuza. What's his name? Shinji.
Yeah.
All interrupted by Shinji and his henchmen at the behest of Takahashi, who is like a head of Pharmacom. But Shinji and his men go in right after Johnny like is like done jacking up and getting the information in his head.
Jacking up.
He's in the restroom and he's like, oh shit, oh what's happening? The scientist killed. Information, that code is burned, but for like a little piece of it. The action in this movie was very slow.
Yeah, compared, especially after you see Keanu as John Wick, and then you see this one where it's like every move is like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Like you can see them. It's not like so that was I was like, yeah, that's so 90s. Yeah. Like I'm sure back then we were like, oh yeah, so much action. Yeah.
But Shinji and them get away. Johnny gets away. And he's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening here? Ends up that Ralphie set him up. And it's a whole thing. We end up meeting who Ralphie is, like Udo Kier, like on wherever he's at. Was it in Newark? He was in Newark. Yeah, Ralphie was in Newark. That's where we meet also Jane. That's where she's introduced her character. She's kind of like she wants to be.
She has body modifications.
She has body mods.
So she's stronger. She can fight better.
Yes. But she's and then like in the story, so it's also adapted from a short story. I started reading the story, but I did a synopsis of it. In the story, she does have like ports and she is stronger. She has like sharp nails. There's like things like that are like more apparent.
Yeah, I bet this, like how you were saying how they did a lot of pushback. They didn't let him do that kind of stuff.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. But instead, they kind of portray her kind of like a junkie. Like she's very
a little bit. Like it's not like she's seen as like, oh, you have these modifications, you're more useful, more valuable. Like she's just kind of like
she's kind of thrown off.
They don't take her serious.
Like the bartender is like one of her friends, and he's like, oh, why are you fucking trying to get with it? And the bartender later comes into the play.
Did like the hair and makeup though, like for the movie. Like I thought it was pretty cool.
I like Johnny Mnemonic's haircut, like without the sideburns. That was weird, but
yeah, like I could tell what they were doing, like trying to make it, because it's only when he would turn in certain ways that you could tell that it was cut. Like it was cut like how you would cut kinky curly hair. You know how black guys, when they pick it all out and they comb it and it's like, and then they cut it in that way so it can sit like that. It looks like that's what they did with his. Like they wanted to see that sharp cut into the part.
Oh,
To me, that's what it looked like.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of shaving off the sideburns above your ear. Yeah. But I get how they were trying to make it like this is futuristic corporate. Yeah. Like,
and I mean, Ice-T kind of looks like the same in all his
movies.
They
were like, oh, you were in Tank Girl. Let's just do that again. Like,
oh, you look like Al Jorgensen.
You won't be a kangaroo this time.
They just make him look like Al Jorgensen. Like, you're just going to look like Al
Jorgensen. It was very, but I did like because the makeup that they did, how it's very minimalistic, the lines, the line work and stuff, that's what's in right now.
That's true. That is true.
All the eyeliner, it's no more like the 1950s eyeliner that everybody wore for a long time that I still wear. But it's like you do it in the middle of the lid or under your eyebrow. Like it's all just like wherever, you know?
Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah.
So I did enjoy that. And I did read that the makeup artist, or no, the key hairstylist for this movie had passed away.
Oh.
Like, not long after.
Oh.
So it makes me wonder, like, what else would they have done after this? Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been cool to see. See where they went. But so, you know, Jane has these interactions with Ralphie. Johnny makes his way to Ralphie. To kind of confront him, at the same time is met by Shinji, and this is where it's like they just want to they introduced the idea that they want to take Johnny's head, they want to put it on, they want to freeze his head, so that they can freeze the information on it, because you gotta kind of have to keep his synapses alive and shit like that. So they want to like just behead him and keep his head alive and take the information from his head, and then, you know, do away with the rest and such. Yeah. And then there's like a scene where Jane saves his life. She jumps in.
So he's like, "All right, you're hired."
He's like, "I'll pay you 50,000 or something, some shit like that. I'll pay you a bunch of money." And she's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." And they have a fight. And Udo Kier dies. He gets sliced by the rope. The laser rope. But they manage to get away. Johnny manages to get away with Jane. And then
isn't it because T-Bone helps, or J-Bone?
No, not yet. Not yet. They do. They find J-Bone. That's she knows T-Bone. She knows like J-Bone.
She knows J-Bone.
She knows J-Bone, and she was like, I was raised by the low techs. So they're called the low techs. So J-Bone heads the low techs. He heads what he calls heaven. We find out that it's called heaven later. But the low techs are like they don't deal with a lot of technology. They're not like kind of jacked into the system. They're kind of off the grid. It's kind of in the name, low tech. Like it's kind of there. They're like the outskirt bohemian people.
Yeah, like, and they don't look like very rich.
No, yeah,
low, yeah. Like
they're fucking they're crust punks. That's what they are. They're fucking crust punks that travel. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was cool with it. I like them. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that are infected with the shakes, the black shakes, Jane being one of them. And we learn this through their interaction with Spider. Spider
tries to help her.
Yes. He's the one who modified her body. And he's kind of like a body modifier, like to make money as like a scientist and like a doctor. But on the underground, he founded like this hospital where people are trying to find the cure for the black shakes. He introduces us to this underground lair. He's also contacted because he's the one that could hook Johnny up to figure out what's in his head. And Johnny's like, I want this shit out of my head, bro. I want my shit. I'm starting to go crazy here. And like we see glimpses and it says, my head, several instances where Johnny wants to, like, I need to hack into the internet and see what's up. Like, what's in my head? I need to get into the internet. So that all that there's all that.
Oh my gosh!
It was like cool.
Like he did.
But essentially, Spider takes him to that hospital because he's even like, well, I'm just gonna like chop this shit out your head. Like there's no way that you can live with this shit. Yeah,
like
in your
there's
head.
a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
And then the Messiah guy ends up showing up.
The preacher, yes.
He has to run away from him, and he kills Spider.
He kills Spider by first he like shoves fucking things in it, scalpels in his hands, and it's a very gruesome death. And so this poor hospital, it sucks because all these people are there, we're sick with the black shakes, and it's an epidemic, and all that stuff. They have to run away. They have to jack up into the internet at points, and then they make their way. Where do they make their way to? It's kind of
they're going somewhere else for him to.
They take Spider's van, and they go to find heaven, to find the bridge. They find that bridge area where they're gonna meet with J-Bone so he could show them where to go. And I think like where J-Bone can like hook him up, because they know now that what Johnny has in his head is the cure for the black shakes, for Naz. And that's the information that Pharmacom didn't want him to project, because they're making all sorts of money off these people. And they have the cure.
Just like now, where it's like there's probably a cure for cancer.
Oh, yeah.
There probably is. And
this is where two of the guys that are in J-Bone's the fortress, that's where they blow up Spider's van. Remember there's that one scene where it blows up, and they're on the hot. So it's like the Yakuza is on trying to get fucking Johnny, but also Dolph Lundgren's trying to get Johnny. All at the behest of Takahashi, who's like the head of PharmaCorp, who is getting these mysterious messages from this AI lady who is what's her name in this again? Anna Coleman, and it's like she uploaded her consciousness into the AI. And she's just kind of like, she comes out here and there, and you're just kind of like wondering, like, who the fuck is this lady? What's happening here? But all this. Anyway, J-Bone introduces us to the dolphin. He introduces us to heaven, where they say, "Oh, bro, we could jack you up, and we could project the message all across the land from heaven, and this is where we broadcast our messages. This is like goes out to everybody, and where we."
But then he has a big old fight scene.
He has a fight scene.
The Yakuza's
there.
He ends up killing him with his own.
Yeah, that was cool. They were dangling from a truck, and
that was.
And like he does like a move, and like it's just kind of like he kind of twists around with the garrote, and then it just chops Shinji's head off, and it just boom, it just falls. And then
he has to have a fight scene with Dolph Lundgren. After that.
And that guy ends up burning to death, and they end up like shooting his body out of the thing in celebration.
And then J-Bone's able to broadcast.
He's able to broadcast.
All the people know that they're saved. And
the doctor's like, "Whoa, I know all this code." The doctors are also hackers, I guess, and they fucking can code zeros and ones and shit and get all the information. So yeah, the cure is out there. Naz is the cure.
The cure is out.
And Johnny Mnemonic is the winner chicken dinner.
And he gains back at the same time. He gains back his when memories. They clear that out of his head. He gains back all his childhood memories.
And he is a whole person now. Yes. In Neuromancer, I think Jane's in there, and she relays to the main character of Neuromancer that Johnny Mnemonic eventually like was killed by a Yakuza or something like that. And so in that universe, he's dead. Yeah. He got killed. Okay. But yeah, so that's Johnny Mnemonic in a nutshell. Also, this soundtrack's not very long. Like, in all honesty, not a very long soundtrack.
Yeah, this one was a very concise soundtrack.
Very concise.
And I'll be honest, the first time I listened to it, I was just kind of like,
right.
I wasn't feeling it so much, except for Orbital, of course. And then I listened to it the second time, and I was just kind of like, just giving it a chance. And then it was the third and fourth time where I was like, okay. Like, I wasn't feeling it at first.
Yeah, it is very much like the proto hard rock, sci-fi, where it ends to like sci-fi fantasy horror land. In the soundtracks that we've already covered, like go back to the Blade episode, go back to Queen of the Damned, go back to The Crow. We're going to talk about The Matrix in a few episodes. This is kind of like the precursor to that too, where
the jumping off.
Yeah, and they're marrying these types of visuals to techno music, industrial music, futuristic music, music that was also like, yes, there's guitars, yes, but in also like a digital age where computers and drum machines can be people are learning how to use samples. Ministry is a big driver of this. Ministry is like kind of the forefathers of industrial music. So let's get into this here. It's so there's a few things. It was hard to find like a full version of whatever this was. It was hard. We found it on YouTube. There's some songs that are like on the IMDb that are like from Fear Factory that are in the movie. There's stuff that's in the movie that's not on the soundtrack. So we didn't listen to that. There's also one last song by Brad Fiedel, who was the composer for the Terminator theme. I couldn't find that song anywhere. It wasn't part of this playlist. It was very like I couldn't find it. Yeah. It's lost. It's not even a victim of the soundtrack. It's just lost to time. I don't know where it's at. And that too, if anybody has like a physical version of this and they could rip it or something like that. Imagine? Shit, that'd be amazing. I mean, shit, if we could find anything like that, that'd be awesome. So I'm going to post the playlist that we were listening to in the show notes here. So you could follow along, you could listen along. The order is also different on the playlist. So I'm gonna list it in I think the order that we listened to it on, and like it's what I've written down here. So first song is Virus by KMFDM. KMFDM. Virus. What'd you think about this song?
It took me a couple of listens to get it, and then I really got into this more when we went for that walk and like going up the hill and powering up the hill. Like it was more like I'm like, okay, I get it. It's workout music.
Yeah, it's workout music. That song does come out like in a like a fighting part. No. It's like when we barely see like the city and like we're introduced to Jane. I do remember that. Yeah. But KMFDM originally stands for Kein Mehrheit für die Mitleid, loosely translated as No Pity for the Majority. Oh, okay. A multinational industrial band from Hamburg, led by Sasha Konietzko. Okay. Let's see. I've known about them because of my older brother, Jake, who I always kind of bring up on here. I don't know where he learned about KMFDM, but they got a song and it goes like KMFDM. And they do like it's very industrial. It's electronic. It's heavy guitars with that like a very tight pushing like I don't know, like militaristic almost vibe to it too, and they're like rapping kind of like it's that 90s early 90s like rapping to in rock type industrial music. Yeah, I like them. They were originally founded in Paris. Oh, that's pretty cool. And they were a performance art project. They're touring now in 2024. They've been around since 1984. Let's see. They want to be like the anti-Depeche Mode. They want to be like the heavier, like grimier shit. Yeah, they're cool. They're in on other soundtracks too. I want to say they're gonna be on the Matrix soundtrack. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, but also they flipped the group around. They added Tim Skold in it. I don't know if you know who Tim Skold's been on a bunch of like I think Tim Skold was also in Manson's band and stuff too. But they flipped the group and called it MDFMK, and they had a female singer in the band too. So it's like they do different things. Yeah. Cool band. Yeah, they're touring right now. Touring starting February 2nd for the 40th year anniversary tour. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I like that song probably more than you did, I think. I liked it automatically. It was very like,
I think because you were already familiar with
it was like a nostalgic feeling. It really was. And their artworks, they all like the album. You'll see guys on the album art on the playlist like what their album art looks like. It's just very emblematic of like what they do. That's how their album art all looks. It's all the same like design. It says KMFDM and then like a weird blocky German impressionistic drawing or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Nothing by Stabbing Westward. This song, it takes me a while to remember what this one is like, but it's got like those like it's like that guitar and then like the like that type of drumming. You know what I mean? Like it's techno industrial, but it's kind of cheesy now. I don't know. What do you think about this song, Stabbing Westward?
That's why the same. Like I was familiar with the name of the band, but I hadn't listened to them a lot or anything like that.
Yeah, they're a band I'm familiar with the name of, and I am sure I've heard more of their music than I know. They were an industrial alternative rock band, formed by Christopher Hall and Walter Flacus in 1985 in Macomb, Illinois. Let's see, they played up until like 2002. They got back together in 2016, I guess. They're doing some like recent touring. Industrial, rocky. They've been, of course, everybody's compared to Nine Inch Nails. Of course, everybody's compared to Ministry and like the likes of like Depeche Mode and stuff. Like Stabbing Westward, it's just it fell along in that genre. They're popular in that genre. I guess it's not anybody that sticks with me. This song too, like his voice is cool. He's got a good voice and stuff. It's a little dated. Like because even Ministry doesn't like I can listen to it not sound dated to me. KMFDM, as dated as that song was, I still jam to it. Like even like the Downward Spiral just celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Oh yeah, and it's
still good. Like it's not dated to me. There's a datedness to this song.
Yeah,
there's something to this song, to this band. But they released some music in 2022. Christopher Hall, Bobby Mamaro, Carlton Bost. So they have 2 original members and like two people. Yeah. Stabbing Westward. Nothing. Yeah, it doesn't. And I was trying to like remember the chorus, but I can't even remember the chorus. Like it, as much as I listened to it in the and then on the walk, and it's like it still escapes me. Yeah. Next song is "Sad But True" by Orbital. A very like trip hop Orbital.
I love that Orbital's so orbital. Like you can hear it and be like Orbital.
Yeah. The different samples they use.
This is the song that saved me because I was just like going through them and I was like, I don't know. Yeah. And then this one came on and I was like, fuck yeah.
I think this one's my favorite just because I like Orbital a lot too. But this one, like I'm excited to play this song.
I liked how long it was.
Yeah.
Too. It's a long
7-minute song in this. And that's they're trying to marry the techno, like also like trip hop also is a thing. Yeah, because
when she starts to sing and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of layers to that song.
Yeah, I like Orbital a lot. We brought them up. Let's talk about them. We talked about them on Trainspotting.
We're gonna talk about them on Hackers.
We're gonna talk about them on Hackers. We've talked about them, but we're going to talk about them a lot more on Hackers, I think, though. Like, I really do want to talk about them because that song, that Hackers song, like, that's, I think. So we'll hear more about Orbital. That's crazy. That's crazy how much Orbital's been around.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. I See Through by Rollins Band. I like how this one just starts off like he's just singing off the bat. He put hold on, give me 1 second. I like how the drums come in, how it does like the and he's just tough. Like Henry Rollins is just like a tough. He's such a different persona on stage and like in these like in Black Flag and Rollins Band and like you said in the movies he's fucking is a goofball.
Like he's like they're trying to make him be like nerdy or corporate or just like government. Like
they have him be so tight because he's not a conservative guy, but he's a very
regimented
guy. He is like a militaristic guy. He's the epitome of straight edge. He's
like the band's Black Flag. Like they still like believe like loyalists, but it's like not the way you want.
But he's not a drinker. He's never drank. He's never taken drugs. He's not like I think he's a vegetarian. I remember learning
about straight edge in like middle school.
I think he's a veggie, and I've heard him on several podcasts. He had his own podcast for a while, but I've heard like he's not like he's not like a mean guy. He's just like a tough guy. Like he's not the friendliest guy. He goes to parties, but he's like, I'll leave and I won't really try to talk to anybody, but I know I have to be there type of guy. Like he's very And in that book that I'm reading, Our Band Could Be Your Life too, it just talks about like he was like a fucking like shit kicker. He fucking super tough guy. You know what I mean? Like just kind of he was very tough growing up. So yeah. And his he's an interesting guy. Kind of hard guy. But Rollins Band, my introduction to Rollins Band was they were the performer on a popular episode of Saturday Night Live, the Pamela Anderson episode. Did you see? That one I remember for some reason.
Of course you do.
Well, so because it had so many. There was like a whole Goat Boy segment on that where she played. I think she played like Britney Spears or something.
Okay.
And it was like a cameo from Tommy Lee. And like I just remember that was a thing. There was that
right that day.
Yeah, that was a thing. And I remember Rollins Band and just looked like, who is this? Like, who's this weird guy? Why have I never heard this band? Yeah. So Rollins Band. Boom. Boom, boom. Complete by Helmet. What do you think about this song?
This one I did like.
I like Helmet.
I did like it. I liked that it was very... Because they're German, right? Or
no, they're from... Let me double check. I've talked about them before on the podcast. Yeah. They are from New York City. New York City formed in 1989. Like I guess heavy metal? Yeah, they're a metal band. Like just alternative, like kind of post-hardcore stuff. Yeah, but this one's cool, like chunky guitars. Like yeah. That's why like it started on one side, and then it just got like all over the headphones. You know, they're very like just like I'm gonna punch you in your face type music.
Yeah. It's like Helmut.
Yeah, they're on tour now. Like they just released an album in 2023. My introduction to them was an album called Betty. I think I talked about this on that last soundtrack that they were on, but Albert had some other albums. And
I could hear Albert listening to that.
Because it's like workout music. Like
you're pumping iron.
Yeah, Helmet's very pumping iron. And this one fit in. It's the heavy metal, but we're going into industrial, and it's to chill it out with the fucking the trip hoppy stuff. You know? So, yeah, it's cool. Next song, No More Love by God Lives Underwater. We both swore that somebody from Alice in Chains had something to do with this song or this band.
Yeah, or they were trying to make them copy the voice or something, because I'm like, is this like a crossover?
Yeah.
Like, is something like, was one of them in this band at one point?
And I don't think I can't find anything that directly says like, yeah, this was like Jerry Cantrell's first band, or this was, you know, and like even the vocalist, his name is David Fitzgerald Riley. He's like a he's just like a singer-songwriter. Oh, he passed, yeah. Before he passed, let's see, he did music with, I think, Spiritualized. He did some solo work. God Lives Underwater did like 4 albums up until 2004. They were signed to American Recordings, which is fucking Rick Rubin's label. So they had that Rick Rubin like grace. They're from Perkiomenville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what they were on American Recordings. It's very 90s like techno drumming with chunky guitars on top and Alice in Chains vocals over it. With the album art looks like a Queen album that like weird, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was wild, but I mean, this song's okay. If it was like an Alice in Chains song, I think that would make us like it better. I don't know. Like
maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Like if it was like if I had said like, "Oh, who's Jerry Cantrell?"
Like, oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So it was okay, I guess. Does that make us weird? Does that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Alex descends into hell for a bottle of milk and Corova 1 by Bono and the Edge, aka U2. Bono and the Edge.
I didn't care for this song.
It's one of their instrumental things. It's it's the U2 band, but it's also layered with like drum samples and it sounds like the Edge's music. Have you ever heard the Edge's solo stuff?
I haven't, but I could see what you mean. Like,
yeah, it's the Edge's music because like he was very much into the industrial sound. We could use electronics. Like there was a big push in the 90s to bring electronics into rock music. Like, and there's some successes. There's some good, like Smashing Pumpkins did it well. Radiohead came out of that real well. The Edge, not so much. But I mean, his is just kind of dated. It's just kind of dated. It's cool. I like the Edge. What do you think about U2?
I used to be super, and I'm into the older stuff, but like after a certain point, it was just kind of like you said, it's dated. It just felt like dad rock. Like I don't know.
Yeah. They're still around. U2 is an Irish rock band, if you have to know. They're from Dublin, led by Bono, whose real name is Paul David Hewson. The Edge, whose real name is David Howell Evans. Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen Jr. on drums. They were post-punk. That's what they started as, like pretty straightforward post-punk stuff in Ireland. War is a fucking awesome album, even like Joshua Tree, fucking awesome album. They have Octung Baby, fucking awesome album. They get to a point, and then it's like they were pretty mainstream for a while.
Yeah,
people got over them after that Rattle and Hum documentary because they were very much like we're the fucking second coming of rock and roll, and they were like super
about it.
And they got that's the thing that happened at that time too. Is I know a lot about U2. I've watched several documentaries. I own one. I know, but in that one documentary that I told you I have where they made Octum Baby, they talk about how Rattle and Hum making the Joshua Tree, all that shit was like their American stuff, their American album, and they assimilated into that. And the people from Dublin felt slighted, and like they were like they sold out to the Americans, you know. So like Octum Baby, this time period was like them trying to get back to the roots, and like we're gonna make a European album. We're gonna get out here. We're gonna make something that's not that's not American per se. We haven't. Brian Eno was the fuck, and that too. Brian Eno was the producer on Octum Baby. He was there, so it's like there's things there that are like. That's why I like this song, for what it is, and it fits like kind of like the vibe of the soundtrack. It ties things together. Like I could see,
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and at this time too, like the Edge was pushing his like technologic, like that type of music too. So I could see how they ended up on the soundtrack and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, Boy, War, fucking Octum Baby, The Unforgettable Fire. That's that one too. The Zooropa was okay. It's an okay album. Yeah, the later stuff like. All That You Can Leave Behind, How to Dismantle the Atomic Bomb, all that stuff. It's just yeah. You too. Me too. Lastly, on this 3 a.m. Incident by Cop Shoot Cop. This one was my victim of the soundtrack for this because I like the song in a different world. It could have been ahead of its time.
That's what I was saying. If this is the song I'm thinking of, I was like, I did like this song. This is one of the only other ones I did like a lot.
It's very nu metal-y, very kind of like different type of drumming and stuff that I like. Very hard, like heavy drums, very thick drums, which I like. The voice, It was an Interscope Records band. Let's look up Cop Shoot Cop. I didn't have them pulled up here, but they were on Interscope Records. Let's see. Was a noise rock group founded in New York City in 1987. They're frequently classified as industrial, but were derived from many different bands. Okay. Let's see. They toured with Iggy Pop. Oh, wow. They did some time, they had some videos on 120 Minutes in the Headbangers Ball. They do have a cult following still. Let's see. They ended, their last studio album was in 1994, an EP in 1997. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Cop Shoot Cop. It was a cool song. It was a cool song. I'm not gonna lie. It was a real cool.
I liked it.
Yeah. It sounds like a New York kind of rock band more. Like in the vein of Helmet. Like it's like in that. Yeah. That was cool. Yeah, I like them. Victim of the soundtrack for sure. Shout out to you guys wherever you are. Yeah, they were active until 97. Yeah, that's the soundtrack. Like I said, last song could not find for the life of me. It was very Brad Fidel. I don't know what it sounds like. It's weird. It's weird to leave it off like that. You know? I want to hear it, but it's not there. Yeah. But Robert Longo, thank you very much for the movie. Final thoughts on Johnny Mnemonic as we transcend to the rest of our cyberpunk journey, love.
I feel like it did a good job of being realistic as far as like future aesthetic goes.
Okay. Yeah.
And having like there be a difference in class, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a big thing because it's not going to be any more of like all these major cities. Like it's going to turn into like metropolises, like you know what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
So I did like that as far as like a style aesthetic goes.
Yeah.
I could see how that was very realistic, and just the ideas of being able to load memory into your head and store it in your own body, like as far as cell phones and technology has come, like
true.
I feel like they did a good job with that. Like even though it doesn't look that great, and it's kind of like raunchy, but it's like think of the ideas, they're there, and that's terrifying. Like it's scary.
Yeah, it's still
like being poisoned by all the technology. Like that's scary.
And then it takes place in 2021. Like we had just gotten out of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're true. Like, the prediction of some sort of epidemic is not far off. Like that was right. What type of epidemic it was and how it was caused and what have you? Yeah, that was exaggerated. But you're right. Like the technology, like the way it looks now, does. It holds up in a weird way.
Like this is a movie they could remake because it wasn't so popular to where people were like, no, you don't got to remake it. But if they were to remake it and do it with somebody that's good with the visuals and the, you know what I mean? Like it would be pretty cool.
I don't think I'd want a remake as much as I want a director's cut, I think. A black and white director's cut, I think.
I would want to see that.
Yeah. Like the black and white I want to see, but yeah. But you're true. Worse movies has been remade worse. So this one seems like they could build upon it better. Yeah. I want to mention too that on this run through of Cyberpunk, I'd be remiss to not acknowledge Blade Runner. So we're not doing Blade Runner this time because Vangelis, I want to do a quick I want to do a Vangelis thing. And Vangelis made the Blade Runner music. So prior to that, so what we're gonna do, we'll do Blade Runner, but later on. But know that Blade Runner is also like the baby, the father of like Cyberpunk
Well, yeah,
movies.
I read that this movie got like they kept saying that this is like a knockoff Blade Runner.
Oh, really?
Or
Okay.
trying to be Blade Runner with bad visuals and bad
I
this
see that.
and like but it's still like it inspired lots of stuff.
And the Matrix built off of this. And we're not gonna talk about Matrix next time. Next time we're gonna talk about hackers. My fucking jam. I'm so excited to talk about hackers. I've been wanting to talk about hackers since I started this podcast. It's a momentous occasion for me, and
so glad I showed you that movie.
What, Hackers?
Yeah, didn't I show it to you?
No, what?
I thought I did.
No,
you hadn't seen it till
No, love, what?
I thought I did.
I rented it in the 90s when it had just come out. Like, we rented it at Smith's, and it just stuck along with us, and we bought it every time.
I don't know why I thought I had showed it to you.
That's why I've told you. Like, the soundtrack, I've loved the soundtrack ever since. I Napstered the soundtrack. Well, we're gonna talk about it. Talk about it. My love. That's offensive.
I might have found the other song. I don't know if it'll play. I don't know if you want to
play it. Check it out. Okay, I guess we're not gonna check out that song. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's weird. One day, I don't know. I don't know how I'll find it. I don't know if there has to be something somewhere. Somewhere something.
We'll see.
Yeah. One day something somewhere. One day it'll pop up. And when that does, we'll have a special episode about it. Anyway, thank you for taking this hyper jump into cyberspace with us.
Jacking in.
We didn't talk about the way that the internet looked on here, the computer animated stuff. That was wild.
Oh yeah, there's a point in the movie where he puts on the headset and he's like looking through the files in his brain and stuff. Like, but I could see how that too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could see how that's happening now. Like what's how you said the Oculus.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
It hasn't.
But the way he looks, it
hasn't been geared towards our personal stuff to where we wouldn't need a computer because we'd be able to see it all in our own brain.
But he also looks like a fucking like.
To me, it reminded me of Lawnmower Man. That's how he looks. Like the graphics look the same. Like Lawnmower Man.
But he looked like a balloon animal. That's what he looked like to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were okay graphics. I don't know. I mean, look. How can I say it? For an artifact in what it is, this movie is amazing.
For when it came out?
For when it came out and watching it at this time now, okay? Like, the graphics are bad, but they hold up for me in a weird way because they're so analog. And the computer graphics are so bad, but they fit within this world.
Yeah.
Like, if you just look at this, like, it's a different world and, like, a different, like, cartoony world movie, different universe. Like, it just I don't know, to me that's how I saw it. That's how I watched it, and like it was just like it was like so much better than I thought it was gonna be, and that I remember the scenes I had seen before. Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. Good movie. Cyberpunk, thank you for jumping in with us. Next movie, Hackers. The Hacker soundtrack. I'm so excited for this movie. After that, we're going to do The Matrix, and after The Matrix, we're going to do Tron Legacy. Because the first Tron, we're also going to talk about during another series at some point. So we have to save it for that. That's Wendy Carlos. That's Wendy Carlos. Yeah, so we got to save that for that. Maybe we'll do like a Vangelis / Wendy Carlos, like a back-to-back maybe one time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool way to do it. Yeah. Anyway, Hackers next. My love, any plugs, anything?
Casey is Harry.
March 21st at Mona. Tip ring sleeve, the Mono Stereo video party.
Just type in Cyberpunk on Google.
Yeah, on Google.
And just look up the outfits. Like, wear something fun. Like, if you gotta wear a wig, wear a wig.
Dance.
Like, just,
get your drink on.
Like, we'll be there.
We'll be hanging out with us. We'll be talking stuff. We'll be meeting people, talking Cyberpunk movies, talking movies. It's going to be a good time. Thank you very much for always listening. If you haven't listened yet, go back to our catalog. Share this, rate, review, all the things. Repost, reshare. Thank you very much for everything you've already done. Our international listeners, thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know how you... Yeah, thank you all the listeners. I don't know how you found us, but thank you for finding us. And it's been really cool to do this with you. Thank you very much, and we'll listen to you later.